Professional wrestling is a world unlike any other, filled with different styles, personalities, and goals. Sometimes that goal involves two people entering a ring with the intention of letting you know that this is unique, this is larger than life. This is wrestling. Micro wrestling. Micro wrestling in America is rooted in the world of vaudeville entertainment. And while there's no exact date that gives the very first match of micro wrestling in America, given the popularity of vaudeville and the popularity of wrestling around the same time, it's fair to say that these matches started happening around the turn of the 20th century. The performances at the time were meant to act as an even balance of comedy and athleticism. Fast forward to 1949, and micro wrestling has transformed from just a vaudeville act to a legitimate main show attraction. The NWA established the World Midget Championship this year, and stars from within the genre such as Sky Low Low and Little Beaver were recorded to make as much as 15% of ticket sales at their events. These top micro wrestling stars would make trips all around America, Australia, Japan, Thailand, pretty much becoming international superstars. The international appeal made its way into Mexico in the 1970s with their introduction of mini estrellas. Mini estrellas, translated into little stars in English, were meant to act as littler versions of already existing lucha superstars in Mexico. This formed pairings like Mascara Sagrada and Mascarita Sagrada, as well as Octagon and Octagoncito. Much like their larger counterparts, mini estrellas were meant to use high-flying techniques to show off their wild athleticism. Also, like their larger counterparts, mini estrellas protected their identities to the biggest extremes. No one was supposed to know who these people were in real life. They treated that mask with the same severity as anyone else would in the lucha world. While mini estrellas have remained common in Mexico ever since their introduction in the 1970s, in America, micro wrestling started to take a dive around the 1990s when it returned to being a more comedy-based attraction for wrestling promotions. The non-profit organization Little People of America has even spoken out against micro wrestlers, saying that it could lead to dwarfism being dehumanized and being spectacles. But even with that said, several micro wrestling organizations have begun to pop up in recent years, leading to a sort of renaissance within the genre. And in order to experience that renaissance firsthand, I took it upon myself to go visit Knee High Knuckle Busters, a yearly micro wrestling event based out of Atlantic City, New Jersey. The first thing I'm sure you're going to notice is that is a micro wrestling ring. I think the average ring is 18 by 18 or 20 by 20. I'd venture to guess that ring is no bigger than 12 by 12. And they honestly could probably have benefit from having a bigger ring, if for no other reason than that referee, none of the referees throughout the night, knew where to be. And they were cramped, and they got in the way of the wrestlers, of the viewers, of the whole presentation.
Everyone have their pants. All right. 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
And here was what started the event off. A hot dog eating contest. The most boring hot dog eating contest. The contestants only had to eat 5 hot dogs. As you can see right here, they're taking a leisurely stroll through these hot dogs. No one's in a rush. The man actually on the right in front, so the first man on the right, saved his hot dogs. He didn't even finish them. At the end of the event, you'll see him throw them to his friends in the crowd. As far as hot dog eating contests go, this was just snooze fest.
I see a lot of urgency. I see 6 guys that just want to eat 3 hot dogs tonight is what I'm looking at. 5 hot dogs. Oh, he made a penis joke with the hot.
The referees had no idea what they were doing because they weren't professionally trained referees. They were people who showed up to the event and purchased the ability to be a referee. And it is so dangerous to let that happen, and also completely ruins several moments. The second match that I watched had the referee not recognize a pin attempt. And it wasn't just any pin attempt. It was the pin attempt that the wrestler won off of. And even after the wrestler won and was declared the winner, the referee is showing him a 2 as if he gets to decide who wins, which I guess technically a referee does get to decide who wins and who loses, but at the same time, when you have the ability to count to 3 and just refuse to or don't know how to, it's in your hands, you know?
You are officially the most terrible referee. With that cookie sheet, baby. You sure? You sure? You don't press charges with that, baby.
Don't worry, Tim.
You only get half the price anyway. You ain't gonna get... Well, somebody threw out there in the ring that wasn't supposed to, but...
Yeah, here's the deal. No throwing shit in the ring.
Yeah, you're out of here, man.
If you throw shit...
And here's what maybe bothered me the most, is that you have these two people who I think are local radio DJs commentating the event. And I understand that they were paid to be there, and they honestly probably didn't have a choice. They just had to be there. But they have a job in this. They should be able to recognize when the audio levels are absolutely peaking. When there's feedback on the microphone, you should know that you need to do something about it or how to fix it. And feedback is usually a very simple fix.
Nudging him on, saying, "Come on, somebody make a move here."
And all these things really take away from the impressiveness of these wrestlers. They're doing things that no one in that audience is able to do, and they're doing it pretty well. And it sucks to be taken out of an event so badly that you can't enjoy the good parts about it. Because the wrestling was good. The speech that TEO gave before his match was good. The crowd bought it. The crowd loved it. But anyone who was there was being annoyed by heavy metal music, terrible commentary, and then referees who had no clue how to referee a match.
Came from New York. I'm from Chicago, a real city, not a place like this little bodunk ass town, Jersey. I can't wait to beat his ass to get out of here.
And let me tell you folks, that little ending remark of not waiting to be able to get out of there, I couldn't agree with more, because this event stunk. This event was an absolute nightmare from start to finish. And let me stress that it wasn't a nightmare because of the quality of the wrestling. I will never put down a person who can, and likely always will, be physically able to do things I never will be able to. The wrestlers deserve as much credit in the world for going out there and putting on a great show. But what surrounded this show, playing music while the wrestlers were wrestling, the discount Bob and Tom that they had commentating the event, and then, most importantly, they didn't have a referee. They didn't have a professional referee. A professional referee, or even a person who is trained in wrestling, should be in that ring making sure no one gets hurt. The amateur hour show that these referees were allowed to put on just never should have happened. Being allowed to purchase your referee spot, which is what they did, is an absolute crime. And even though I may be fighting a battle or speaking words that they don't really care about, I feel the need to stress that a professional referee should always be on hand for these kinds of events. It's not safe in this instance. It's not safe in backyard wrestling. It's not safe if a professional isn't there to make sure that the wrestlers are safe. And that does it for this video, ladies and gents. It's already, by my second episode, a video that I didn't really want to make this style of. I want my videos to typically follow an HER system: history, event, research. I'm going to give you the history of a type of wrestling. I'm going to go to an event that covers that type of wrestling, and then I'm going to encourage you to research more of that type of wrestling if you enjoy it. That said, I just couldn't find an accurate way to recommend that for you with the event that I went to. And let me say that I don't believe all micro wrestling events are built the same. I think that this one specifically, for whatever reason, was meant to be more of a comedy type show. But I'm sure you could go see micro wrestling in your area and enjoy it. And maybe that's the type of research that you have to do. Find a serious organization, or an organization that at the very least produces a higher quality event than this, because the wrestlers were in no way at fault for what happened, but the audio, the commentary, and the refereeing absolutely made this thing unwatchable. The event only had 3 matches, and I only stayed for 2 of them. If you look online at the Micro Wrestling Federation, you'll actually find that they're building a development center in Tennessee for micro wrestlers, and I think that's great. Giving people a chance to explore a platform that they may not have many opportunities for is amazing. But I can't say that I'm too hyped to see the end product if many of the events are going to look like this. But as always, I have to ask you, if you enjoyed this video, share it with a friend. The goal of this series is to try and reintroduce people to wrestling in some way, shape, or form. And even though this event was not my cup of tea, there may be one out there that is. Maybe you can find it for me. Maybe you can share that information with me. I may have introduced you to micro wrestling, and now you get to go see what all is out there in the world of micro wrestling. I think it's a very interesting topic, and I'd be very interested in seeing the more lucha side of things. Once again, if you want to leave a comment down below about what you like about micro wrestling or any experiences you may have had with it in the past, please, I highly encourage that you do. Liking, subscribing, whatever I'm supposed to say that you should, go for it. And if you want an audio clip featuring you, why you enjoy micro wrestling, to be put out there for everyone to hear, send it to thisiswrestlingshow@gmail.com. And eventually, once enough people start viewing this thing and start sending clips in, I'll make a video about it. Until then, this is wrestling. Micro wrestling.